That looks very nice. So how was school today?
I gotta play for a lot of time.
You got to play?
Yes.
You don't go to school to play, do you? You go to school to go to class.
Yes.
Okay.
And breaks and played.
What classes did you have?
Yeah.
Which class did you have today?
From morning to evening, only I got Indian language and math and only Indian language and maths today. The whole day maths.
Ooh, wow. Lots of math then, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you were gonna practice reading something for me, right?
Yes. And that maths is like today only I finished the book, like the back is there.
Wow.
Because in maths they're putting lesser pages now.
You were busy then, weren't you? Okay, so what are you going to read to me today?
I'm going to read off my class English textbook.
Okay. Is it a story?
Yes.
Okay,
Story of the message in a bottle.
Message in a bottle. Okay. Did you find any words we need to talk about?
Good. Wow, some word. Stanford.
What is it?
Stanford.
Can you spell it?
S.
S.
C.
S. C.
A.
A. M.
P. P. E.
What is it?
P. E.
P. E. Scamper.
Yes.
With an R at the end. Scamper.
No. R-E-D. Stanford.
Oh, E-D. Scampered. E-D. All right, well, that's a verb. It's a past tense, means it's already happened. Scampered. Can you find the sentence where the word is? And just read me the sentence.
I don't know the meaning of scampered, but my mother just said the spelling and pronounced scampered, but she didn't tell me the meaning.
No, that's okay. I want you to find it in the text of the reading. Right? It's in your story somewhere, right?
They scampered along to the shop.
They scampered along to shop.
Means they run or they walk.
Yeah, when you scamper, you just I have a picture in my mind of kids just kind of skipping along and hopping and running, and it's scampered gives you the idea that they're doing it quickly, walking along quickly here and there.
Yes, I got it. Means in some cartoons, the children will la 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 la, they're singing the good.
Right, right. Moving along from one place to another. Exactly. Okay. Well, whenever you're ready to read, You can read. You ready? You know what? You need to move your camera a little bit so I can see you keep going off camera. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Okay. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Long time ago, two children, Meena and Ajay, lived in a small fishing village by the sea in South India. They were good friends and lived next door to each other. Their fathers were both fishermen. There was no school in the village, so the children built sandcastles and chased the crabs, swam in the sea, and climbed coconut palms all the day long. They had a wonderful life without any worries. One day they were playing on the beach when they found a large tin bottle. With a great difficulty, the children took the cap off the bottle. Inside they found a piece of paper. What does it say? Cried Meena excitedly. I don't know, replied Ajay. There is some writing on it, but we can't read. The children wondered what to do. Old Manu, the shopkeeper in the village, could read. He would be available to tell them what it said. They decided to go to him. They scampered along to the shop with the bottle and the paper. Look, Manu, cried the children excitedly. Look what we discovered on the beach. Old Manu took the paper from the children. He put on his glasses and started to read. If you get this, said the old Manu, reading from the paper, please write to me. I am David. I live in a small fishing village in New Zealand. Here is my address. Old Manu pointed the address on the paper. Here is the boy's address. He said, the bottle has come all the way from New Zealand. It is a country far, far away, over the deep blue sea. You must write to David. He must be a small child like you. Tell him that you found his message. The children looked down at the feet. They looked sad. Why are you looking sad? Asked old Manu. We cannot read or write. We cannot read or write. We can't reply. Meena quietly. You are foolish. You are not foolish at all, said the old Manu. Why don't you learn? There is no school here, said Ajay. How can we learn? I'll teach you, said the old Manu with a smile. From that day, every afternoon, when the shop was quiet, the children sat with old Manu and he gave them paper and pencils, and he taught them. Some months later, Meena and Ajay wrote a letter to David in New Zealand. He wrote back to them. The months went by. The years went by. Meena and Ajay were still write to David. Now they are nearly as old as Manu was when he first read them the message in the bottle. This is the story.
Nice, nice. That was a nice story. Have you ever seen that in a movie or a cartoon or anything where the kids find a bottle in the ocean and they take it out and read the message?
In stories.
Yeah, in other stories. So yeah, that's a common thing. So the boy that wrote the note was from where? Where did he live? New Zealand. New Zealand. New Zealand.
Yes.
New Zealand. All right. Let's say that a couple of times. New Zealand. New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah, okay. I had trouble understanding that when you were reading it, and then I figured out, oh, that's what you're saying. Okay, New Zealand. All right, well, that's a nice story. What about, are there any other words that you want to talk about besides scampered?
There's no words besides scamper.
Okay. All right, well then let's use scampered in a sentence. All right, let's see if we can make a good sentence with scampered.
Okay, Studios, then can you read the sentences about law and pounced?
I didn't understand what you said, Joanna.
Means that yesterday you gave me the words of law and pounced.
Oh, I thought we did those.
Okay, can I read now?
All right, let me find those. Oh, that's right. Gnaw and pounce. Gnaw and pounce. Okay, yeah, let me hear your sentences with gnaw and pounce.
I know chocolate. I know the chocolate.
Okay, so I gnaw the chocolate. Is that right?
Yes. I know the piece of bread.
Okay, you gnawed. Are you putting an ED on that or just leaving it?
I know the bread, the piece of bread.
Yeah, my question is, did you put an ED on gnaw or did you leave it plain?
I leave it plain.
Okay, I gnaw on bread. Okay, I gnaw the chocolate, I gnaw on bread. Is that right?
Yes. And I pounced on my bed.
Okay, I pounced. Did you put an ED on that?
Yes.
I pounced on my bed. I pounced on my bed. I gnaw the chocolate, I gnaw on bread, I pounced on my bed.
I pounced on my teddy bear.
Okay, and I pounced on my teddy bear. Okay, good. I gnaw the chocolate, I gnaw on bread, I pounced on my bed, I pounced on my teddy bear. Is that it? Is that all of them? Okay, very good. Very good. Let's see if we can take these sentences and make them a little bit more interesting. Okay. What's an animal that could gnaw on something?
Rodent.
Okay, a rodent. Let's be more specific. What kind of a rodent? Like a mouse or a rat?
Mouse.
All right. So let's use mouse. And let's think of a sentence with mouse. How could we start a sentence out about gnaw using mouse?
Hello. The rodent gnaw on the cheese.
The what?
The rodent gnaw on the cheese.
Okay. So the rodent. Is there any word we can use to help us describe rodent? What did the rodent look like? Let's make up a good describing word.
Rodent look like a small tooth, like a rat. Huh?
Okay. Can we think of a word that would describe it? Like, what color was it?
Was black.
Black. Okay, so let's say the little black rodent. And what was he gnawing on? Cheese?
Yes, on cheese.
The little black rodent gnawed. I put an ed on it. Gnawed on the. Could we describe cheese?
Yes.
What's a good word to describe? What color is cheese? Okay. We could say on the yellow piece of cheese. Okay, so now that if you put in some describing words like that, then that gives your mind a better picture of what you're saying. If you just say, the rodent gnawed the cheese, well, we get a picture of that. But what if we say the little black rodent gnawed on the yellow piece of cheese? Then we get a little bit more exact picture of in our minds of what we want to say. So we need to be using more describing words. Okay.
Okay.
Let's take the word pounced, and let's try to write a more interesting sentence with pounced. One of your sentences was, I pounced on my bed. Okay. How about, instead of saying I, let's think of a name. What was the name of the girl in the story? What was the name of the girl in the story? Do you remember?
Mina.
Can you spell that? M E N E.
No, M-E.
M-E. Mimi? Mima? How do you say that?
Mina.
Oh, Mina. Mina. Okay, Mina ran into her bedroom and pounced on her beautiful bed. So I put a few describing words in there, or a little bit more to the story, and made my sentence a little bit more interesting. Mina ran into her bedroom and pounced on her beautiful bed. Does that give you a different picture than I pounced on my bed?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so when you're writing a sentence, let's try to use some more descriptive words to make your sentences a little bit more interesting. All right, so now let's go to scampered, our word for today, scampered.
Okay.
We know what that means. Now let's see if we can come up with a real interesting story or a real interesting sentence. Maybe we can write several sentences and it'll be a short story. Okay? Where'd you go? Are you there, Joanna?
Yes.
Okay. There you are. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. Scampered. So we know that means moving along joyfully, hopping, skipping, moving quickly from one place to another. So how should we start a good sentence out? How do you think? Let's write a sentence and then we can rewrite it to make it better.
Rita scampered to the shop.
Mina scampered to the shop.
Yes.
All right. What kind of a shop is it? Let's make up a shop that we want Mina to go to. What shop would she go to?
Bakery.
All right. So let's call, instead of just saying shop, let's say the bakery shop.
Okay.
The bakery shop or the bakery store, but you call them shop, right? Okay. How about Mina smelled a wonderful Mina smelled a wonderful, well, I'll just use smell again, smell in the air as she scampered into the bakery shop. So instead of, I changed Mina scampered to the shop, I changed it to Mina smelled a wonderful smell in the air as she scampered into the bakery shop.
Like beautiful pastries, drinks. Yeah, it smells.
So that's when you pass the bakery or go into the bakery, doesn't it smell just wonderful? Yeah.
I only feel the coolness. Like they'll close the doors means that bakery, they'll put all the things, cakes in one big,
Yeah.
like it's like a tray, and they close the doors. That's why you don't get any of the smells.
Yeah. A bakery, I love to go into a bakery and it just smells so good. It makes you want to buy everything. Okay, let's do another sentence with scampered.
Rajay scampered to the school.
Okay, what's his name?
Raju.
R-A-J-U?
Yes.
Raju scampered.
Yes.
To the school.
Raju scampered to school.
To the school. All right. Now, what could we do to that to make it a little bit more interesting and give us a more exact picture of what he might be doing?
Raju scampered to the school very happily.
All right, yes, that happened. That makes it better. Now we know how he's feeling. Raju scampered to the school happily. That gives us an idea of his mindset, how he's feeling, because he's happy, right? And before we didn't know that, but when you added that word, that gave us some more understanding of Raju and how he was feeling. Okay, is there anything else we can do to that? What else might we do? We know he's happy now, so how about something like Raju listened to the singing birds as he scampered to school happily. Raju listened to the singing birds as he scampered to school happily. Okay?
Okay.
What about, could we change that sentence to something else?
Because that sentence was good.
Okay, what else could he listen to? What else might he hear as he's walking along to school? What other kinds of sounds?
I know. Raji is going to school listening to bird chirps.
What? Say that again.
Raju went to school happily listening to bird chirps.
Okay, but we're using the word scampered. You didn't put scampered in your sentence.
Okay.
Raju scampered happily to school listening to the birds chirp.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good sentence. Now help me write that. Raju scampered to school listening to the bird chirp. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, that's much better sentence than Raju scampered to the school. You see how to make your sentences a little bit more interesting? You've
Yes.
got to think of what the person might be doing and use a lot of describing words that describe. So like if I say Joanna is wearing a bow in her hair, and if people couldn't see you, they wouldn't know it was pink. But if I say Joanna was wearing a beautiful pink bow in her hair, now they get a picture in their mind of a beautiful pink bow, right?
Yes.
So describing words are very important because they help the reader see the picture in their mind. And that's what we want to do. As good readers, active readers, we have to see the picture that the author wants us to see. And so when you write a sentence, what picture do you want the reader to see in their mind? Because that's what happens when we're reading, right? We see the actual pictures and story in our mind as we read, right? When someone reads to you, don't you see a picture in your head without actually seeing with your eyes?
In thinking brain.
When I was reading the story, of course, I was showing you the pictures, but when I was reading the story of the Call of the Wild, remember Buck had all these different adventures and he finally ended up becoming a wild dog. I showed you a lot of pictures, but when there wasn't a picture, we had to come up with the picture in our mind. We had to see the story in our head, just like a movie. And we do that when we listen to words that are being read to us. So when you're the author and you're coming up with a sentence or a story, you want your readers to see the story that you're thinking of and trying to write about. Right? Okay. So those are good sentences. Those are real good sentences. Let's see. So we'll meet again Friday.
Okay.
And it's my turn to read, right?
But you got enjoyed the story of the Whitney Watney Wat.
Yeah, that was a fun story. Hooray for Watney Wat. I think the next story I'm gonna read is called this one. Can you read that?
Thunder Cake.
Thunder Cake. Thunder Cake. It's a fun little story. Do you have thunderstorms in India?
Yes.
Do you have lightning and thunder and thunderstorms?
But there's a Thunder Cake.
Yeah, so this story is about a little girl who's afraid of storms and thunder, and her grandma helps her overcome her fear of thunderstorms. So it's a fun little story. And we'll read that on Friday, okay?
Okay.
All right, well, you have a good evening and a good day in school tomorrow. And we'll meet again on Friday.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.